Alright, like, click, subscribe, do all that. You already know what time it is. It's Netflix time. This movie's called Just Say Yes. Incurable romantic Lotte finds her life upended when her plans for a picture-perfect wedding unravel, just as her self-absorbed sister gets engaged. So it's a Dutch comedy that just came out. It's an hour 37 minutes long. It's freaking hilarious. Spoiler alert, let's get it. So we start off with this girl named Lotte. She's just running with a wedding dress on. She just takes a seat on the bench next to this guy. He's on the phone having a conversation about balls and STDs. I'm like, what the fuck? And he sees Lotte crying on the bench. He's like, hold on, man. I'll call you back. So he asks her, like, what is your deal? And then she starts telling him the story. So she works at this TV company, right? And she's been dating this guy, Alex, who actually works there for about 5 years. She's thinking to herself he's eventually going to propose soon. Then she has this idea in her head about how it's going to happen. First, the officer's going to pull her over. And the officer's going to escort her to a bunch of ladies just dancing in a circle. And then out of nowhere, her man's going to come through in all white on a white horse and propose to her. Now clearly all this is in her head. So how does it really happen? She gets home from work, and as she's changing clothes, her friends just pop up out of nowhere, and he pops out the blue and proposes to her. So now she's like fitting into dresses and all that. She's actually trying to put on her grandma's dress. And this is her friend G. She don't care about getting fat. She said she ain't getting no sex at home anyway. She's like, her man don't be doing nothing. All you doing is working on that damn bike. Here's Pam. She's a single one out the group. You know she's trying to get it in. Pam is a person that absolutely hates kids but somehow ended up becoming a school teacher. And then we have Estelle, Lottie's sister. So back in the day, she thought she was the ugly duckling of the family, so she gave herself a makeover and then got some plastic surgery, and now here you go. She got about 2 million followers, and she literally posts everything up on Instagram, even at her dead grandma's funeral. I'm like, god damn. Alright, this is Kim, Estelle's best friend. She follows around Estelle everywhere she goes, like literally everywhere. So Lottie's on her way to work the next day, and she bumps into this guy named Chris. He had accidentally spilled her coffee when he bumped into her. She was going on and on about cleaning it or whatever like that, so he gives her a business card. And she called it, but it was for a Chinese takeout restaurant. Not even gonna lie, that was fucking hilarious. Well, anyway, she's in the room with her and her sister. Then her boss, John, pops out to make sure that she's ready. Estelle looking like, you already know what time it is. Lottie's like, fuck no, that's my boss, chill out. But as soon as she turned her back, you already knew what time it was. And this is her executive producer, I forgot his name, but he comes up with like random ideas and he asks the other people to come with random ideas. So as she's making her pitch, she looks off into the corner and sees Chris like, what the fuck are you doing here? So yeah, he's actually part of the team now to make sure that viewers pay attention to the show. So she had a presentation she was about to launch with a show called The Fatties, I guess. They ain't know whether to call it exactly that, but it's supposed to be a show about people losing weight. But then Alex comes through and takes credit for all the ideas. She's like, what the fuck? And you're like, come on, baby, we're a team. Don't even worry about all that. He's like, yeah, we got this, we good. They take time for their aerobics classes. There's one scene when they talk about making a sex tape, and G's like, sex tape? Man, I ain't had sex in like 7 months. Well, damn, it's like that at the household? So then they get a sexy weather girl to report the weather, as opposed to somebody else that was doing the weather for like 20 years. All because they felt the other lady was boring. Some misogynistic shit going around here, huh? Then they get to some sports news. They start talking about this guy and his love life. So he talks about having a new lady in his life named is Ingrid. But apparently it's the Ingrid he's messing with, so it's like, oh shit. In the midst of all this, Alex says something important to tell to Lotte. He's talking about slowing things down, and then she's like, what the fuck are you talking about? She's trying to break up this fight, and Alex still has something to tell her. So even the guys stop fighting for a minute, and she's like, what the fuck are you trying to tell me? He tells her it's over, and they just break up with each other. I'm like, wow. Even the guys get together like, damn, that's messed up. And the crazy part about that is, she didn't even know they were still recording, they were still live. And then she just screams into the camera. Priceless. Back in present time, he's dying laughing at this shit. He's like, yo, this shit got like 10 million views of you getting cut on the air. I'm like, wow. And then on top of that, because it's his house, he kicked her out and got her bags out of it. I'm like, god damn. Even though her friends come by and help her move, she's always carried these Barbie and Ken dolls, and the friend gets the Ken doll, burns that shit. The symbolism will come later on in the movie. So for the time being, she's gonna be living with her sister. So she's sleeping on her sister's couch getting furred, and she's about to go out on a date. With who? Take a wild guess. So she gets on the computer and starts looking up old pictures of him. And I'm thinking to myself, they were together for 5 years. He proposed to her and then broke up with her on TV. Why? Later that night, she gets up and turns around to go to the refrigerator, and she sees her boss, John. What's he doing there? You know what he's doing. Giving your sister the business. And now she's got to try to get some sleep here and all that shit. Next day, she comes to work. Now you got to think to yourself, she got humiliated on TV by her ex-boyfriend who still works there. Because, you know, they got to be cordial and shit. And then on top of that, he's going to be leading the show that she's been pitching ideas for. Yeah, so basically she's like, what the fuck, dude? So instead, she's out there doing some type of biker show with Chris overseeing the project. So some guy named Bo is like the main driver, and he went to the wrong location, so he's not on set. And so she replaces Bo, but has no idea how to ride a bike. And it goes how you expect. She crashed into a bunch of shit. But she a trooper, she tough like that. But Chris made sure they got all the footage. Like, he wants to turn it into some type of like comedy hour, but it'll definitely boost up the ratings because that's what he wants. But she don't really know that yet. Meanwhile, Estelle comes back in with a dog, even though she doesn't like dogs. But obviously, she'll do anything for this, man. So afterwards, not only do they do a presentation about animals, but then apparently he proposed to her earlier in the film. So I was like, what? So Lottie's like, what the fuck? I get dumped by Alex and then my sister ends up getting a fiance. What the fuck is going on? Then they go out for drinks celebrating. She think about fiancés, her sister dating her boss. And then she chokes the girl Kim out of nowhere. No, this is all in her mind. She ain't do none of that. So back in real time, my man's like, yo, you need some weed for this shit. She gets a smoke going and continues the story. Later on, Estelle's doing vlogs and hashtags and whatnot. And she accidentally knocks over this vase. As of right now, she didn't know what it was at first. So she started vacuuming up. She thinks it's powder. Her sister pops in and is like, no, that's not powder. That's your about to be fiance's ex-wife's ashes. She's like, yeah, you better get that back in there. You gonna be X'd out, period. But then he pops up, it's like, oh shit. He's like, yeah, she's like, I gotta get him out the office. So she gets him out while her sister cleans up. So after her sister finishes having a nervous breakdown, she finds her lunch that Chris was eating on. I'm like, why does he have her lunch? Like, you couldn't mistake it for somebody else. It literally has her name on the shit. Well, anyway, he makes a deal with her, so saying that if she agrees to host it, he'll make sure that Alex will want you back by this afternoon. She agrees on it, but my question is, why would you even want that asshole back? You know what I'm saying? It's like, yeah, they were together for 5 years, but he gave you a ring and then it just broke it off like it was nothing for whatever reason. They still haven't told the reason why. So now Alex is doing the first episode of The Fatties. Needless to say, with the name alone and how social media is, Chris and them know that this show's gonna flop within a month. But Chris's plan is to make her show better than Alex's show. He's just gonna do it by making her look kinda silly on TV. Because her looking goofy in certain scenarios gets the real viewership up. So it's a win-win and she's willing to do it. So they meet up at the park. So she's carrying his bag around. It's like an old lady bag. And he straight tosses it in the trash, yo. He's like, I don't want to see that mess again. We're giving you a makeover. Gets her hair all done up. Takes her shopping. Then she coming to work the next day flexing on niggas. Those bosses looking at him like, Alex like, yeah, you're a dumbass for letting that go. So now Alex coming over trying to see what's up. She's like, look, man, I'm busy. I ain't got time for this shit. So now she's back on the show talking about she uttered her cow for some milk, drinking the milk. And she was coming from one direction. He's like, yeah, my cows are over there. What she ended up doing was milking a steer. It was like, yeah, that's not a cow. Yeah, think about it. They got her doing archery, all types of stuff. Anyway, the bottom line is her ratings are going up and Alex's ratings are going down. Then she does a charity for kids. It's like, if they raise up enough money, she'll wear a chicken suit, which they do. Then they raise $600,000 and she ends up doing chicken dances. The point is, her and Chris are starting to get close. As they celebrate their accomplishments, Alex tries to get back into the picture again. But then Chris steals her away for a dance. This nigga hating, it's your own damn fault. So later on, she does a webcam video for Alex to just be teasing him. Then the call gets interrupted by her sister. So then she starts stripping down like it's just Alex. But it turns out everybody's on the conference call, including Chris and both her bosses. So yeah, that was something. Okay, this scene is hilarious. G's trying to spice up her love life with her boyfriend, finally. She's like rolling around on roller skates, and she's rolling backwards, finally about to get some action, and she trips and gets one of the rockets shoved in her ass. I guess in hindsight, she got what she wanted. Even the EMTs was laughing at it and shit. Anyway, Lotte meets up with Chris, and she gotta watch after her boss's daughter while Esther and John go out. But Chris doesn't mind at all. She got him playing dress up and shit. And then all of a sudden this nigga pops up again. But she decides to go with Alex, and Chris was like, yeah, go ahead, it's cool. So they go to dinner, and they do end up kissing. But the whole time she's thinking about Chris. Chris and John's daughter are asleep, and she tucks them both away in for night. Next day they start working on a project together. He tells her he got offered an executive job. The only problem is it's in New York. I mean, obviously he won't take it if he has a reason to stay. All of a sudden she gets called to the middle of the floor. And this goofball proposes to her again. She never even said yes or no, but they went on with it like she said yes. But Chris just walks away like it was the end all be all. But I guess the whole point was for him to get her back with Alex and whatever, so. But Chris had got her a present before he left. And he got her a Ken doll. Symbolism, nigga. So after all that, they're getting ready for Esther's bachelor party, which is going to be on a boat. The only problem is she gets seasick. He tells everybody to take these tablets, like, yo, y'all be fine. So they getting their drink on. They all start feeling weird. Turns out the tablets they took was ecstasy. You know what I'm saying? I can't spoil the end. The end is too damn good. I'm going to stop it right there, but yo, Just Say Yes on Netflix. Check it out. Like, click, subscribe, do all that. You know what time it is. Slick these, y'all easy, mister. Keep the goddamn slogan.